Welcome back, guys. It's James Tremain here, and welcome to the new series, 100 Ways to Change Your Life with me, Retrain with Tremain. Now, the idea of this series is going to be super raw. I'm sat here right now at the office, coffee in hand, and this new series is going to take you through 100 ways to completely change your life so you can create more health, wealth, happiness, freedom, time, energy, success in your life. Now, the idea of this is they're going to be a combination, a mixture of audio podcasts on Spotify, but also with some presentations and trainings on YouTube as well. But the whole idea of this is we spend all of our day going about, we're either driving somewhere to work, we're commuting, we're at the gym, we're cooking dinner, whatever it may be, or even just relaxing and watching TV, all right? Now, always 24/7, 365, we are being programmed. Okay, now this is either positively or negatively, and if it is not being done positively, then this is where the results will be mirrored in our outside world. So if we're constantly watching, we're being programmed 24/7, 365 through the things that we listen to, the things that we watch, the people we spend the most amount of time with, our environment, everything that comes into our 5 physical senses through our eyes and our ears. And if it is accepted as true, the way that your mind works, whatever is accepted by your subconscious mind as true, your subconscious mind will create the circumstances, the events, the things which will align with what you predominantly believe, think and feel as true. Now, this programming is predominantly done between the ages of 0 and 7, when our brains are primarily in theta brainwave frequencies. Just like a sponge, we're absorbing everything that is going on in our outside world. And that's the only way that we could survive as a child, right? We had to accept whatever our parents told us. If our parents said that this race of people are evil, then our very nature and survival, we had to accept that as true. Now, only when we reached the age of around 7 did this conscious, analytical, thinking mind come in. The part of our mind that can either accept or reject things as true. Now, by the time we're about the age of 35, we're just a set of memorized programs, essentially, belief systems, actions, behaviors, and habits. And if we aren't aware of that, then we're just running on a set of old subconscious programs. And if those programs have been negative, which 95% of us who are grown up in the West are, then our results are going to mirror what we are internally thinking and feeling as true. There's a formula to all of this. As I've mentioned many times before, the outside world, and this is something that all ancient civilizations, all great thinkers, all throughout history have disagreed on many things. They've disagreed on many things, but they all are in unanimous agreement that our internal world, our belief systems, the way we think and feel, are controlling our outside reality. The outside world is a mirror of how we think and how we feel internally. So the idea of this is to retrain your subconscious mind to create more health, wealth, happiness and success in your life. And considering that we're always being programmed by everything that we're consuming, whether that be on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Netflix, on the conversations we're having with colleagues or down at the pub or friends, everything is constantly programming our mind. Now, if we accept these things as true, but they're negative, then that's what we'll create in our outside environment. So the idea of this series is that you become like the lab rat and the scientist, the mad scientist and the lab rat. You are experimenting these tools, this knowledge, this information, and you'll implement it in your own life. And when you start to see the positive shifts that it has in your life, you can then replace these old limiting belief systems and retrain with the new limitless beliefs and behaviors and habits that you consciously accepted, because this time you have personal experience. Now, this is as much for you guys as it is for me, because on this journey of self-development and self-improvement and self-mastery, and to become the strongest, most capable, calm, regulated version, connected spiritually of oneself, it involves a lifetime commitment to self-development and self-improvement. And sometimes you lose track of where you're going, sometimes you fall back into old behaviors, drink, drugs, alcohol, junk food when things get stressful, and that's all normal. However, it's about how quickly can we bounce back. So this field manual, this practical field manual that I'm going to share with you, the 100 ways, is something that you can come back to anytime, any place, whenever you need to reorientate back to your goals, and for some practical tips and tools that you can use to get back on track and to change your life. Because ultimately, that's what we're all trying to do, right? Is change ourselves and mold ourselves into the best, most capable version of self. Strongest physically, mentally, calm, resilient, strong, disciplined, self-control, emotionally regulated, spiritually connected, and working towards something bigger than ourselves. Now, all of these tools and all of the things I'm going to share with you is something that I've utilized in my own journey. I utilize with my clients. I currently use them. I am using them, and they're what I'm going to share with you. And they've helped me go in the past 7 years from 110 kilograms, a fat functional addict. On the outside, yeah, life looked good, traveling the world, making good money, decent job. But internally, felt like I was living another life. No discipline, waking up late, feeling stressed, anxious, overthinking, and then utilizing alcohol, drugs, junk food, scrolling, anything to take the edge off, to avoid, to numb or distract from that little voice inside my head that kept telling me you're meant for more. Now, it wasn't until one day one of my mates told me, "You look absolutely fucking disgusting," in a picture I posted on Facebook. And it was that moment that made me realize something needed to change. Now, this is what happens to most people. They have to get to the worst case scenario. They have to get to the worst point of their life for them to start to look inwards. Okay, this process is called metacognition. It's where the individual starts to turn around and look inwards. Okay, everything's going absolutely tits up externally, and they are forced now to look internally and start to ask themselves, well, why do I act the way I act? Things aren't going the way I want them to go in my results. I'm not seeing the way I want to get. So, and it always seems to happen in cycles. The same relationships, the same problems, but with different people. So then it always comes back to the common denominator, which is self. Okay, why do I keep getting these results? Why do I keep thinking the way I think? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I act the way I act? And that is metacognition. The first step of making any change in your life is to have an awareness of self. Okay, most people are out there thinking that the external world, the people, the places, the circumstances, the things that happen are the cause of the problem. Okay, that's why the individual feels the way they feel. That's why they are addicted. That's why they're in the circumstances they are, because someone else did this or this thing happened. When ultimately it is our internal state, how we think, how we feel, and our belief systems that are controlling our actions. Okay, there's an actual formula to this. Belief systems, your self-image, what you believe to be true, is controlling the way you think. Okay, and the way you think then controls the way you feel, and the way you feel then controls how you act, and ultimately your actions control your results. So most people are out there thinking that they need to control the outside world, control this, control that, this person needs to change, that person needs to do this, when ultimately, when they just turn around and face inward and start changing themselves, then the outside world will start to mirror and reflect back to them what they are now being, their new state of being internally. So in our quest for changing to becoming this new version, the first step is having a goal, okay? Having a vision, a massive vision for the future, okay? A man without a goal is like a ship without a captain. If you have no goal, if you don't know where you're going, then you're going to have no motivation to get up in the morning. Okay, when things get difficult, of course when things get stressful, life gets hard, because it fucking does, it will. Then if you don't have a goal, a mission, a reason why, then of course, drugs, alcohol, junk food, cheap dopamine, whatever it may be, whatever your vice is, well, that's going to feel like a welcome distraction from whatever is going on. But when we get extremely clear on this vision and this goal for the future, something to aim towards, we can then start to reverse engineer this goal. Now, this is exactly what we do within the Vision Blueprint. And wherever you're listening to this, I will leave it in the description, or you can comment the word vision. And I'm going to send you over the full Vision Blueprint document that I used to lose 30 kilograms in 6 months, to create a life that I previously thought was impossible. Now, 7 years ago when I was 110 kilograms, big man boobs, beer belly, drinking literally every single night, weed every single night, junk food every single night, partying, cocaine, Wednesday to Sunday, just the cycle of party, then on Mondays, come down hangover, feeling empty, lonely, disconnected. Yeah, but looking good on the outside, externally successful, but internally not. Now, when I was at that position, it seemed absolutely impossible to achieve what I've achieved now. Living in my dream island, Ibiza, having a successful business, building a family, creating a life of freedom to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it. I thought that was previously impossible 7 years ago. But the thing that changed was when I started to get clear on my vision and goal for the future and writing it down, all right? So the first step is in the Vision Blueprint is to get clear on what it is you want. Okay, what do you actually want from life? What the fuck do you want, all right? Write it down, okay? What is your desire? Is it a certain amount of money? Is it a new experience, right? Get so fucking clear, get crystal clear on what it is you want from your life, okay? And once you are aware of what it is you want, like write it down, yeah? And this is what you'll have inside the Vision Blueprint is a system which you can write it all down and getting clear on that goal, on that vision. What do you want, all right? And then we start reverse engineering it. Well, who do you need to become in order to achieve that goal? Because right now, if you were able to achieve that goal, you would have already achieved it. So you then need to work out what is the type of person you need to become in order to achieve that goal, all right? That person that you're currently going, the goal that you want to achieve, which you've never achieved in your life before, is going to take something that you've never done, right? So you have to start thinking outside of the box. Who would the person I need to be in order to achieve that goal, all right? He probably has to be disciplined. He has to have self-control. He's probably going to have to wake up on time. He's probably going to have to be honest. He's probably going to have to be sober, all right? These are all the things that you'll start to write down. And then you start to work out what are the habits that are holding you back, all right? Because when we break it all down, ultimately, our life is just a combination of our small daily actions. And our actions are controlling the results, right? So if we want to change something, then we need to work out what are the things and behaviors and habits that we're doing right now that are draining our energy, that aren't moving us towards our goals. Now, alcohol, for example, might be one of yours. Massively changed my life when I stopped drinking alcohol. Had a lot more energy, not dealing with hangovers, not more creativity, focus, right? And that's something I realized when I was first going through this transformation is that, okay, in order to achieve this dream life that I want, have a business of my own, create financial freedom, create freedom of time, place, choice, having a family, all the things that I previously thought were impossible, is going to involve things that I am not used to. And one of them was removing alcohol. So the habits that you're removing are really important, because just like filling up a bucket, if the bucket has a hole in it, then no matter how much water you put in it, it's always going to be leaking out, right? So first of all, fix the leaks. What are the energy drains? Yeah, what are the habits that are taking up your time, your energy, your focus? Okay, and then start removing them and writing them down, right? Then writing down the habits that are going to bring you energy, make you feel good, okay? Bring you focus, energy, peace, calm, regulation, okay? And then we work out the vault of hard things, right? A list of things that you've been through that are fucking difficult, all right? Because life gets hard. Life is hard, yeah? Ultimately, it's a paradox, yeah? What you believe to be true, you will create. But it's inherent that part of the human experience is that we have pain and struggle and difficulty, right? No matter how much you want to sugarcoat it, everyone is going to die at some point, or someone you love is going to die. There's going to be things that happen. Maybe you lose money in an investment. Maybe an accident happens. Maybe you end up in hospital. Maybe someone dies, right? These are all things that are going to happen. And it's going to be difficult and it's going to be tough. Find out why. Why do you want this goal? Okay, because when things get hard, when things get difficult, when the motivation wears off, because yeah, you're going to have this idea to make a change. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to do whatever it is to improve my life. You're going to have a little bit of motivation. It's going to feel good to start off with, right? Yeah, okay, I can do this. And then, I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days or a week or however many weeks, there's going to be a moment where that motivation falls off. And you're going to need to fall back to your why, okay? Viktor Frankl said it. A man with a why can deal with almost any how, okay? So this why are you doing it? Why the fuck do you want this thing, okay? When it gets to the morning and you got to get up at 5 a.m. and you don't want to and it's cold, it's rainy, and you're doing the things that you don't want to do because it's strengthening you, there's going to be a moment where your voice comes in, a little voice inside your head that says, just relax, you don't need to do it today, okay? Take it easy. Why are you even doing this, yeah? In the middle of the runs, just stop, go back home, it's cold, right? All of that will then ripple out into every action that you take throughout the rest of the day. So you need to have this why, okay? When that voice pops up, you need to be like, nah, this is why I'm doing it. Shut up, I'm going towards this goal, okay? And by having that goal in mind, always, constantly, it's going to help you achieve whatever it is you want. You can reorientate it, right? You have this roadmap. You're creating a character within your own mind, all right? And then you're going to live into that character by constantly visualizing and imagining, using the higher faculty of your mind, imagination, that you will then live in your mind this new version, this new person, and you'll automatically start taking the actions of this new person. Now, they've done experiments with people who are in psych wards, yeah, psychopaths, and they tested them. They said, we want you to think about and visualize being a normal person, a normal individual. And then they would do tests on them, and like 80% of these individuals who were in psychosis actually became mentally stable just by visualizing what it would be like to be a sane person, all right? So this is the same with you and I in our life, right? If we want to change where we are right now, we are where we are, and we want to improve our life and become a better version, then instead of thinking about where we are right now and our problem and how we can't do this or all of the limiting beliefs that might be there, we start focusing on and creating this new person, right? How would this new person act? That's exactly what we do inside the Vision Blueprint, all right? So remember, just send me a message or comment the word vision or look in the description, and it will all be on there for you to fill out within your own time, all right? But just like a climber, right? 80% of climbers who summit Everest will die on the way down. Okay, now that's absolutely crazy, but it makes sense when you think about it, right? Because when you've got a clear vision and you're focused on the top of the mountain, you're not looking down. You're not feared, you're not worried, you're not doubting, you're not looking down, you're just focused on the one thing. Okay, you're doing all the actions in order to achieve the summit. But once you achieve it and you start looking down, you start getting complacent. Your focus drops, your discipline disappears, your mistakes start happening, And obviously on the top of a mountain, Mount Everest, that is deadly, right? But you can see this the same thing happens to world-class athletes, right? Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, all of these world-class athletes, they had a goal in mind to become world champion. But then they retire and they lose sight of that vision and they become fat, alcoholic, drug addicts. And it's because they lost the goal, they lost the vision, all right? Now, as a man, the number one priority for you is to have a goal, have a vision, have a mission that is way bigger than anything you're currently going through right now. Okay, something that's going to get you up in the morning, something that drives you, something that gives back to the world. Okay, Ikigai is a good concept for this. Okay, it's working out what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. Okay, and it's in the center point of these things that is your Ikigai. Okay, your mission, your purpose. Okay, and this mission, this purpose is going to drive you, to keep you going, to keep you up. It keeps you with the momentum and the energy. Right, you see this, right? Even with retirees, yeah, a retirement, someone who has just retired, they lose sight of meaning and purpose. Okay, they've got no meaning, they've got no purpose in their life, and then like when people retire, they most likely die within a couple of years of retirement because they have no goal and no mission and no focus and nothing to work towards. If we've got nothing to work towards, well, of course, we'll fall to drugs, alcohol, junk food. We give up on life, okay? That is why in Japan, there is no word for retirement. It just doesn't exist. Whereas in the West, the word retirement exists. And then when people die within a couple of years, or when people retire within a couple of years, they're dead because they've got nothing to live towards. Okay, so our goal here is to always have a goal in mind. Okay, always have a vision of the future and this new person. And when you do achieve these goals, immediately choosing a new goal. This should be physical, this should be mental, this should be emotional, this should be in relationships, in your business, right? Have small goals, have big goals, and have something to aim towards, right? Always coming back to the thing that you want to achieve and reverse engineering it. How does that person act? How do they look? How do they feel? How do they think? Everything, all right? And that's what the Vision Blueprint does. It gets you extremely clear. You've got it all in one document, all right? And then you can reread this every single day. Okay, because the way that subconscious mind works is whatever is repeated and accepted in your subconscious as true. Your subconscious, like a garden, okay, the conscious mind being the gardener and the subconscious mind being the garden doesn't care what you plant. If you plant seeds of fear, worry, anxiety, doubt, then that's exactly what your subconscious mind will reflect back to you in your circumstances, in your results, okay? Whereas if you focus on this new version, this new vision, this character creation, this new person that you choose to become, and then all you do is think about that, how would that person act? How would he do? What would he do right now? Then you'll start to take the actions because you're thinking about this new version of you. And remember, this new version of you is you right now, okay? Quantum physics tells us that everything is happening right now. So create that character and start living into it with your daily actions, all right? So if you want that document, guys, just comment the word vision, or I will leave it in the description as well. And implement this. Just get in step one, get clear on your goals, all right? Something massive, something that gets you excited to get up in the morning, something that takes you away from these self-destructive habits, something that you can fall in love with, all right? That's step one, guys. Step one on 100 ways to change your life, vision. Okay, choose a goal and start taking action towards that goal now. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comment section below how you found this first lesson on 100 ways to change your life. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.